Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Today we're jumping into a really foundational story. It's from Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 to 9.
That's right, the Tower of Babel.
Uh-huh.
We're using the source material you provided to kind of unpack this.
Exactly. Our mission really is to dig into what this ancient story tells us. About human ambition, our drive for unity, but also confusion and maybe where we fit into a bigger picture.
Yeah, and it's fascinating how it all starts. The source material points out this initial scene. The whole world had one language and a common speech.
Right. And on the surface, that just sounds, well, perfect, doesn't it? Like the ultimate team project.
It really does. Total collaboration, no misunderstandings. Sounds like a dream, like you said.
But then the source material pivots pretty quickly. It suggests the unity itself wasn't really the issue.
No, it was the why, the motivation behind it all.
That's the key turn, isn't it? The text quotes them saying, "Let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens."
So that we may make a name for ourselves. And that phrase, that's what the source material really hones in on.
Make a name for ourselves. Yeah, that just leaps off the page. It wasn't about honoring God or reaching towards him in worship.
Not at all. The analysis we looked at highlights this as, well, pride, self-exaltation, trying to build something to rival God, almost.
Our source even uses the phrase dethrone its creator. That's strong language.
It is, and it frames that as the absolute heart of the issue. And, the source suggests history kind of echoes this pattern.
Right, that when humanity tries to elevate itself to that level, things tend to go sideways. There are consequences.
Definitely. But what's really striking here, and the source points this out clearly, is how God steps in.
Yeah, it's not lightning bolts or floods this time.
No, it's confusion. He confuses their language. Suddenly that perfect communication is just gone. They can't understand each other to work together.
And the way the source material interprets this is, well, it's quite profound. It's presented as a lesson almost.
That sometimes the biggest obstacle isn't destruction, it's division, internal division, breakdown of communication. It just stops the project in its tracks.
What I found really interesting was the perspective that this was actually an act of mercy.
Mercy, how so?
Well, the idea is if God hadn't intervened, they would have kept going down this path of immense pride, this self-deification almost. And who knows where that ends?
Ah, I see. So the confusion, while disruptive, actually prevented something potentially worse, a deeper fault.
Exactly. It stopped them from digging themselves into an even deeper hole of rebellion and self-destructive pride.
Okay, that adds a layer to it. So the immediate result is, well, chaos.
Yeah, the project collapses. They can't finish the city, the tower, and they scatter. They're scattered all over the earth.
And the source material makes a really important connection here, doesn't it? It links this scattering back to an earlier command from God.
Right, back after the flood. The command was to fill the earth, to spread out.
So you have this contrast. Humanity's plan. Consolidate, build one massive monument to themselves, stay put.
Make a name for ourselves.
Yes. Versus God's apparent intention. Diversity, movement, multiplication across the globe.
So it's like, even though their project failed because of their motives, the scattering actually aligned with God's broader purpose in an unexpected way.
Precisely. The nations began to form from this scattering. And the source suggests this sets the stage for the next phase of what it calls his redemptive story.
So if we try to boil down the key insights here, based on our source.
One big one seems to be about unity itself. It's not inherently good.
Right. Unity driven by the wrong motives, like pride or self-glorification, can actually be, well, dangerous. Maybe even more so than honest division over something important.
And ambition ties into that. Ambition without being aligned to, let's say, a higher purpose or God's will. The source calls it a road to confusion.
Which is literally what happened at Babel. Confusion stopped them cold.
There's that whole theme of identity. Make a name for ourselves.
Yeah, that constant human drive for significance, for reputation.
And the source contrasts that with the idea that true, lasting identity isn't something we build for ourselves, but something that's given by God.
Human-made names fade, right. But an identity rooted in something bigger endures.
It's like the Babel story holds up a mirror. It shows how easily, even good things like collaboration can slip into competition, or unity can become a form of idolatry, worshiping our own creation, our own name.
And the counterpoint offered in the source is pretty clear.
Which is?
That if we orient ourselves differently, if we seek something beyond just our own glory, if we seek him first, That's where real clarity and identity come from, and maybe even true, healthy unity.
It makes you think, doesn't it? Why does this ancient story still hit home today? For you, listening, think about your own projects, your team goals, even personal ambitions.
Yeah, what's the underlying drive? Is it about building up your own name, your own monument, or is it aligned with something more?
It really leaves us with that powerful question from the source material, a challenge almost,
Are we building towers, or are we building altars?
something to chew on. And next time on the deep dive, we're moving forward in the narrative. We'll meet Abram.
Yeah, Abram being called out. Called to leave everything familiar, step into the unknown based on a promise from God.
It's the start of a huge new chapter, a
Hey,
covenant, a promise unfolding. Really foundational stuff.
looking forward to it. Until then.
See you next time.